So I spoke at a fundraiser for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I got involved with those good folks. And I spoke for the first time publicly about my brothers. And it was awful. 5 minutes, it was brutal. And I got through it and I sat down. And afterwards, a lady came up to me and said, "You need to tell that story more often." And I said, "Oh, you just heard the one and done show. That's not happening." But God kept saying, maybe there's something here. Like in everybody who's listening, your crucible moment, maybe something's in there. Don't waste the pain. And I started speaking about my brothers after that. I got a call from a university that said, "Hey, we saw you at that walk, that fundraiser. Can you come speak to our students and interns?" And I bombed. I cried the whole time. They introduced me. I never heard myself introduced this way. Here's a guy who lost two brothers to suicide.
Mm.
That's something I never heard out loud until that day. And they go, "Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Gillan." I'm sitting there, when they're introducing me, I'm going, "Oh, that poor guy. Who is that guy?" And they said, "Oh, it's
Mm.
you." Crap. And then I just cried the whole time. So that didn't go very well. Then I got another call from a school that heard me speak at that school. And they said, "Hey, come down." And I only cried half the time. Hey, progress, right?
Twice as good. Twice as good, right?
And then the third time, here's another word session where God enters the chat. I went to a Baptist school here in South Carolina, Charleston Southern University. And they said, before our speaker goes on, let's pray for him. And this woman got up and prayed for me. And I needed that. This room was packed. It was 220. The room held 220. There probably was 300 kids in there because it was part of convocation. They had to show up. They had to get credit. And I love that. Normally when I speak or like on a campus or something, it's not voluntary, it's mandatory. You got to go. And they don't want to be there. And I love that audience because I walk into this hostile crowd and I'm going to wow them with this story. But she prayed, and that's exactly what I needed to hear. And from that night forward, I think I had my calling. So I remember driving back and I brought my pastor with me. And he looked at me and goes, "You got to keep going. You got something here. You got to keep going," which I wish he would have said, "You kind of stink at this. You need to go back to your day job." And I'm like, all right, God was wrong.
Yeah.